Welcome back to a brand new episode of Coach's Corner, this time Girls Soccer Edition. I'm Jake Lancer with Victor Lowe for HWTV, and today we're joined by varsity head coach Richard Sims. The Wolverines have a chance to win the Mission League, led by a plethora of young stars with young potential. Coach, thank you for joining us. It truly has been a wild season. First off, congratulations on winning the Mission League last night. You guys now at least will split it with Notre Dame, but have a chance to win it outright against Chaminade later this week. It's been a wild season. You guys lost your second league game to Notre Dame in the pouring rain, and things were looking maybe a little worrisome at 1-1, but you guys have pulled out 4 of your last 5, and it's just really been a great season to finish it off. What do you think changed after that Notre Dame game?
Yeah, that's a good question. Good morning, guys. I don't think anything really changed. I think what sports are all about is those moments, right? Like they will define your season. So you're right to mention that game. I think it was a season defining moment for us. And you can go a lot of different directions after a loss like that. You can blame each other. You can allow it to affect your confidence. It can shake your team. But really, we played hard that night. There were just a lot of things that didn't go our way, and Notre Dame ultimately beat us. They deserved to beat us that night. So a lot of times it's just about a little bit of self-reflection and then building on it, because we played a really tough preseason schedule. So it wasn't like that was the first game we lost in the season. It was just the first league game that we lost. And that for us was really healthy to play some tough games in preseason, learn what our identity is, and losing is going to happen. It's how you respond, and we've responded really well.
Yeah. And I know it's late in the season, but since this is the first time we've had you on this year, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your background as a coach and as a player before that, maybe.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I've been thinking a lot about this recently, but my journey as a coach, I'll be brief. But I did not have a tremendous playing background. I played through high school, but I came into coaching right away after high school without a strong playing background. And it used to be something that I was maybe a little insecure about, but I've kind of realized when I replay my trajectory that it put a little chip on my shoulder, and it gave me a lot to prove in coaching. And I sort of had to start at the bottom, but I started at a club called Westside Breakers on the West Side, coaching club soccer. And then I took a job at Immaculate Heart High School. I was there for a year. Then I went to Crossroads for 2 years. I coached there. And that's where I was when I met Odrius, our old head of athletics at Harbor Westlake. He gave me the opportunity of a lifetime, which was to come to this school. I started in the fall of 2005 and have been here for 18 years. So it's been an amazing experience. I love the school. I love the community. The students are the best resource, and we have the best students. So I feel pretty fortunate to be here.
You guys get a rematch with Chaminade, who you tied earlier this season. They have a very strong defense. How are you looking to attack them with young stars like Vicky Pugh and Kaya Santamarco King?
Yeah, we're excited for that game. The game at Chaminade is always a bit of a different environment. They have this blue turf on their field, and it's just kind of a unique place to play. And so we try to embrace those opportunities, because most of our games are played on the same kind of turf field. So something different and something to look forward to. They have an excellent goalkeeper. As you said, they have a great defense. I think that we struggle with our finishing the first time against them, and sometimes that can snowball on you, where you miss one chance and then it gets in your head a little bit for the next one, and then you start trying to be too perfect, and it was just one of those nights for us. We actually played really well. We just didn't take our chances. And it's funny, that game it's just a sport of soccer, because that game was a tie, but we actually felt like it was one of our best performances of the season. So we can build on that. We're feeling really confident right now. The team is playing hard for each other. So their defense is excellent, but as you said, we've got some great forwards. So, we always like our chances to score.
And like Jake mentioned earlier, you guys are first in the Mission League, so you'll be heading into playoffs soon. What division are you guys in CIF, and how's the competition?
Yeah. This is the first year that CIF has done this Division 1/2 split for soccer. And so it looks like we're going to be in Division 2. Only the top 16 teams make Division 1. And we're probably just outside of that. I think we're in the top 20, but not quite in that top 16. So we'll go into Division 2. And it's super competitive. And what I think will be really fun is there's a lot of parity. Like we're just as good as everybody, but everybody's just as good as us. So that should make for some really even matches and some exciting games. Playoff soccer for me is awesome. The kids who play club soccer, they don't really play a lot of knockout games or single elimination games. And so brings a different level of pressure, and for our team, which is very young, that's going to have a lot of value for their careers. So I'm really excited for it.
You guys recently held senior night against FSHA. Can you talk about some of the seniors on this team and just that group, that class as a whole? What do they mean to this squad?
Yeah, it's funny. My perspective on senior night has changed a lot over the years. When I was a young coach, it was like a distraction, and we might not play well because there's all this other stuff going on around the game, and you have to tweak your lineup. And now I have a different perspective on it. I love senior night, and last night is a really special night for us. Those seniors, as you mentioned, we have 7 seniors, and this is a group that won when they were sophomores. They won, CIF championship, Division I championship. And now into their senior year, they have this really young team that they've had to lead, and they've had to show some incredible maturity for, and kind of a seriousness of purpose and understanding what our core values are as a program in terms of being inclusive and warm and welcoming. We believe in equity across our program, so we don't treat the freshmen any differently than the seniors, the junior varsity any differently than the varsity. And we really rely on the seniors to carry on those traditions and to respect that culture. So, we have Danny Lynch and Alex Astalos are the senior captains. They've been incredible on defense this year. I think we played 9 league games and had 7 shutouts, so they've been great defensively. Amelia Jackson, is a converted field player into a goalkeeper who stepped up for us last year and has continued that this year. She got hurt in the middle part of the season, so Caroline Dobb, who was our other goalkeeper, had to step in, had not played due to injury in a year and a half, and stepped in the middle of a tournament, and helped us. Maria Quigley, started last night and had a great game and was a major contributor, but is a perfect example of that culture, that you want to have, and really shows that with her behavior. Sydney Carmel has unfortunately been injured all season, but has been at every practice, every game, every team meal, is on the bus, is leading by example, is helping with equipment. She's just found ways to contribute, which sometimes kids with injury will disappear on you. Maya Trachtenberg has been a great example. She's surrounded by young players in the midfield. I think it's all freshmen and sophomores that are playing in midfield with her. So she's had to be an on the field leader, at training and in those types of environments. And then Alyssa Thompson, was there last night as well. And I get asked about her a lot, but it's been incredible how connected to our team and our program she has stayed, even with all these other amazing things happening in her life. She still has been grounded enough to be at senior night with her entire family to cheer her teammates on. And we still think of her as a teammate, even though she's not playing right now. She's still part of our family. So it's been a really rewarding year, and it's a great group of people.
Right. And I wanted to dive a little deeper into these injuries that the team has been facing this year. Like you mentioned, a few other injuries. There's also Sophia Waters and Danielle Liebzon that have been injured. How have these injuries affected team success and maybe impacted the morale?
So the kids like to make fun of me because I use the word adversity a lot, and I do that very intentionally because ultimately our season is going to be defined by how we do in the toughest moments, not how we do in the easiest moments. And a road playoff game and a big crowd, or calls are not going our way, or we mentioned it earlier, extreme weather conditions, rain, wind, cold, whatever. And so these injuries are just more adversity. They're just more opportunity for us to come together, and they just create literal opportunity for other people to play and step into roles. Unfortunately, Danielle has been hurt for a while, and so it was really disappointing because we had hoped that she would be able to play this season, and she wasn't quite able to get back on the field, and that's been a shame. But again, just like Sydney Carmel, she stayed connected to the group, and that's one of the really important things in our program. And I can't sit here and say we believe in inclusivity and equity and warmth and a welcoming environment if we don't feel that way about players who are not playing. So whether it's Alyssa, who's not playing for pursuit of her professional career, or it's because of injuries. Sophia Waters was really disappointing. The timing of it was rough. It was right when she was really starting to hit her stride as a player. She had earned her way into the starting lineup. She was playing incredibly well. But that injury could have been a lot worse than it was. She's already back in training with us. We thought she might be out for the season. She's already back training and hopefully can play in the playoffs. And so again, it's, finding the positives out of those moments and figuring out what we can take from them and learn from them. And it's making us a stronger team. All these things that come up. Amelia, as I mentioned earlier, Amelia Jackson got hurt in the middle of the season. Our team now knows that when those things happen, which they will, we know how to respond, and we know how to work our way through those moments and how to turn them into positives. And that's why, you play sport is to deal with that adversity and become stronger for it.
Coach, in my opinion, one of the big storylines this season has been all of these sophomores and freshmen really contributing to your team as a whole. Last night, all 5 goals were scored by freshmen and sophomores. So how excited are you for their development this offseason? What are you looking forward to just in their careers at HW in general?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And it's we were watching Kaya, for example, last night, the second goal she scored, the left-footed shot that she had. Her talent is just off the charts. It's just crazy how talented she is. She has every tool you would want a soccer player to have: speed, physicality, determination, technical ability. She's smart. The big thing this season has been how much progress they've already made from when we started in late November to where we are now in late January. They've already made incredible strides. So I'm excited to support their futures. I'm excited to support that development. And what's really important right now is that they're learning how to play as a team and how to play together. That's the hardest part with young players. They don't have experience playing together. They don't have chemistry together. And so there's other obvious stuff. They're just physically younger and smaller than some of the older players. But the biggest thing this year is that they're learning to play together. And that's something we want to build on for future seasons so we can hit the ground running. We don't have to go through that November, December period of learning how to play together. We did that this year. So hopefully we can use that experience for future seasons.
After a big team win, at an away game, what is something that the team does to celebrate together after that?
That's a great question. I don't think I'm invited to those celebrations, so I might be the wrong guy to ask. No, I think that it's funny. Friday was a big win, and it was Friday night, and so a lot of times they've been going to the basketball games. I think that's kind of been the most common thread is going to the games together and supporting the boys basketball team because they play on the same nights as us. But I'm sure the kids have their own ways of celebrating, their own traditions. But right after a game, Friday night for us was really important. We lost to them the first time around, and so we had a point to prove. And the Mission League has been something we've been very successful in, but we're also very cognizant of the fact that we're not entitled to win it. We have to earn it. And so earning it Friday night, last night, and throughout the season has been really rewarding. And so I think the ultimate celebration will come at the end of the season because that's really what we're about as a program.
What do you say is one aspect of this team and their games, either on or off the field, that you've seen the entire team really grow in this season?
Yeah, it's a good question. They've grown in a lot of different areas, but the one that jumps out at me, I think, is because we're so young. I mean, we start 7 underclassmen out of 11 players. More than half the team is underclassmen, and there was a moment in the middle of our season where we kind of had to go through a process of figuring out, where were we at the beginning of the season? Where are we now that we're halfway through? And where do we want to be at the end of the season? Like, what do we want to be saying about ourselves? And I think that there were a lot of positives in terms of our talent and in terms of our ability to win games. But the question mark really was the leadership dynamic. If everything is falling on a few seniors, and then you have all these young players, it's going to be difficult to be successful because those young players need to feel more accountable to what's happening. It can't just be about the senior leadership or whatever. We want to develop leaders as well. We want kids who are sophomores to have leadership opportunities so they're better prepared for that senior year. And I think that's what the biggest growth has been, is the young players feeling more accountable, feeling like they have more to contribute, not just with scoring goals or making plays on the field, but contributing to the team chemistry, contributing to the team culture and dynamic. So how they take care of themselves, are they getting enough sleep? Are they eating properly? Are they going to the trainers? We always deal with young players who are not taking care of their bodies, and it starts to show up with small injuries. They've started to take responsibility for that. And so that maturity is what I would say. When you have a young team, you got to mature quickly, and we're doing that.
All right, I think that's all we have for today. Thank you very much for joining us, Coach Sims. I'm Victor Lowe with Jake Lancer for HWTV, and we'll see you guys in the next one.